Hello, guys. Welcome to HEX the Crypto Sparbook Show. Today we have a really cool guest for you guys, and the reason is there will be a new contract out for HEX soon, and it takes a while, but it will be soon. And we have one of the developers that created HexBay in our show today.
Exactly. So also hello from my side. Hello everybody out there. Please take the time to like the stream if you want to. Also, would be nice if you can comment like where you are from, where you are joining today. I'm also always interested like where the people are joining from. How international our community is already getting. And yes, as Alan already said, we are going to talk today with Fabian, who is one of the lead developers of the so-called HexBay contract. So hello, Fabian, or Earl, also known as Fabian.
Yeah, hi everybody.
Of the lead.
Greetings out. Yep, my name is Fabian Earl, also known on Telegram. Yep. Thanks for having me.
Fabian, we always ask the same question up front in our interview. What was the first time you came into contact with crypto in general?
I mean, I heard about it back in 2012 and thought about it, but it never came to fruition. And then it was like in the middle of 2017, like just before the Ethereum mining hype craze and everything began. And I still remember that that because I'm also like like an IT guy and always have like PC gear, graphics cards, etc. And yeah, so we ordered. I wanted to order like 12 graphics cards for Ethereum mining, and it was at the time where you could only purchase a maximum of 3 graphics cards, and like. So I split it with 3 other people, and everybody bought 3, and we started mining. And then, like 3 days later, there were no more graphics cards. Yeah, and that's when the real craze began, and that's how I got into cryptocurrencies.
Okay, nice. So pretty early then, I guess.
Are you still mining Ethereum?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
With the same hardware you bought back then, or did you needed to buy new hardware?
So we bought 12 GTX 1070s back then, and we mined here in Germany. But yeah, when the bear market came, it wasn't really worth it, and so we are now like mining in another country with cheaper electricity and not on the original hardware.
Okay, yeah. So you moved to get a better earnings ratio.
Rate. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. That's definitely a topic for later on, maybe the mining. But the next question would be, when did you come into contact with HEX?
So also in 2017, I noticed Richard's videos, and especially the one about IOTA, and I instantly became a fan. So yeah, that's when I actively like followed Richard and his developments, and so I knew about HEX like early on actually, and I free claimed on day 1, day 0, and yeah, and I helped actually some people in the Telegram groups to also free claim because it was kind of tough for a lot of people. Yeah.
It was just new, yeah. Also for me, it was a new thing, and I needed like a whole day to figure it out. Huh? What does this guy want from me now? To sign a Bitcoin transaction? What the hell is that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew about these functions earlier, so for me it wasn't like super special,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was for a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, there
So
were
you're
rumors
really
that you're getting hacked or something if you sign the messages.
Yeah, or your
stuff,
data gets stolen, or
yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So you're really experienced in the crypto space, Fabian. You know Solidity, you mine your own Ethereum, and so on. So you know a lot about the market. So the question now is, did you FOMO on day 1?
A little bit. I mean, yeah, I did put in like double the amount compared to the days afterwards. And also, I didn't put in like every day. I mean, it was the plan at the beginning to split my Ethereum over the whole duration. But then other projects came, and the price of Hex was kind of down, and then I kind of stopped. So I missed the best days, but it was still pretty good.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah, and
Fabian.
as you see, like nearly everybody FOMOed on day one, because otherwise there wouldn't have landed so much Ethereum on day one, in the code.
For sure. But Fabian, you said you put twice the Ethereum in on the first day than you would normally do. And I do not consider that FOMO. I put in on the first day 100 times as much as I normally would. So this is FOMO kind, man.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, in the end, it all came out pretty good, even if you
For sure.
put in a lot.
Definitely. So the next question before we come to HexBay would be, what is your favorite part of the Hex game theory? What is your favorite feature? I mean, for me, for example, it is the locking up mechanism that I cannot hurt myself because I'm a pleb compared to you, for example. I would, after 10x, after 50x, I would definitely sell everything I have, but the contract, the staking doesn't allow me to do that, so it saves me from my pleb ass. So what's your favorite feature?
I think my favorite feature is the same because I mean, some people have like diamond hands, but most people don't, and I often hear people saying, if I only got into Bitcoin like in 2011, I would be so rich now. And I'm always saying, no, you probably wouldn't, because you would have sold at like $10, $100, whatever. So being forced to hodl is actually, it's pretty good. Also, it makes you feel good because you can't do anything about it anyway. So, so you just hodl
you
on.
don't get so upset about the price in the short term. So we had plenty of dips in Hex, and afterwards we made always a new all-time high. And during those dips, like nobody went really crazy. Okay, after the first dip, yes. So in January, because it was too new, I would say, because after the first 30 days we went down pretty far, especially if you consider the price on the first day, where there were only 1 billion hex, but on the other side like 20,000 E. So bit too much. And and after that, like everybody, after the big payday huge dip, everybody who understood the staking system in the first place, nobody complained. Nobody. I mean,
because
86%, and everybody was fine with it. With the
that's because the people that understood it have long stakes. So why should they care about the short-term price?
Exactly.
I mean, it's always nice to look at your portfolio and say, look at my paper gains.
Yeah, cool. So let's get into it. So Earl or Fabian, please explain us like what is HexBay all about?
Yeah, so basically when Hex launched, I immediately thought to myself, oh, maybe you could make the HEX stakes actually tradable, because smart contracts can also interact with the Hex smart contract. And I thought, yeah, cool, probably someone is gonna do it. Then nobody did it. And then a few months, I mean, more like a year later, I saw that still no one was doing it. And so, yeah, we started doing it, but we've designed it in such a way that it's overall beneficial to the Hex economy as a whole. And it also introduces some new, game theory, and some new ways for like real Hexicans to a new most optimal strategy, actually, because you can buy someone else's stakes with a higher T-share rate, and so it's like traveling back in time a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe we start like what is the huge advantage for the user, and as I know there are some Hex devs also watching this, it would be cool if you can then go a bit more in the technical detail behind your contract.
But we have some people in the chat that have never heard about HexBay, so we really have to explain it for noobs first, and then we can go really deep into the topic as well. So, what is the Hex contract, the HexBay contract?
Yeah, so basically it's a smart contract we've developed, and it's getting audited and everything. But yeah, and what it does is you can start a stake using our smart contract using HexBay, and then the contract is staking for you, and because the HexBay contract is the owner, it can also like it can like change the internal owner of a stake. So for example, our HexBay stake creates a stake, and internally it says this stake belongs to me, for example. And then if I were to sell it, someone else could like buy it from me, and internally it would get credited to the person that bought this stake. I hope it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, sure. So as a user, I have the possibility to do a maximum staking length, so a Quattro Cinco stake, and when I want to sell that I say like after 5 years, okay, Hex is now at higher, and I need some money and I want to sell that stake, then I can just go on the open market and offer my stake. And how would that work? So somebody else would just say, okay, I agree on that offer, and then running a function, and the ownership is automatically switching like to the other guy, like who I am selling to.
Yeah, it's working kind of like that, but we've put in some additional features, so that when you have your stake created and you go for 5555 days, because it makes the most sense because you can sell it later. So why would you not get the most T shares at the start of your stakes?
Yeah, that I get the maximum interest from day
correct.
one. Yeah, maximum
correct.
interest possible. So
Yes, and yeah, we've designed it in a way that that everything can be completely like trustless. I mean, of course, you always have like smart contract risk, but you have no middleman, etc. And you can just like tell our contract, hey, I want to sell my stake, this one, for example, and I want to have, and you can only sell it for Hex. So that's an important feature. And also,
the important feature before was, so there are no admin keys in your smart contract.
no,
So it's
of
like
course not.
a true smart contract, not one of those fake smart contracts.
Yeah, correct. No admin keys, nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you can offer your stake up for an amount of Hex that you choose, and it can only be in Hex, and then someone else can buy that stake for that amount of Hex that you said you want, and then the stake gets credited to the person that bought your stake internally, and you will receive 90% of the purchase amount.
Okay, and like how can I can set the sell amount individually?
Yeah.
Because I guess there would be a spread between the current Hex, so like the principal plus all the accrued interest, and the T shares versus the US dollars, right? Because
Correct.
even if somebody, so let's say I stake 1 million for maximum right now, and in 4 years those are 3 million, and and for 1 million Hex for 3 years, I don't know, let's say I get 200 t-shirts. It's, yeah, I guess it's lower, I don't know exactly. And
so basically
and let's say those 200 t-shares are worth more than the 3000 Hex. I mean, it needs to be worth more than the 3000 Hex, yeah, because I would never get so many t-shares for this stake in 3 years.
Yeah, so kind of like the minimum price you would want is like like your principal and your earned interest,
Mm-hmm.
and then also you're probably going to attach like a little bit extra because your T-shares are worth more. And if somebody would want to have the same amount of T-shares now, they would have to put in like way more principal.
Mm-hmm. And you
Yeah.
said when I want to sell it, then myself as a seller has a 10% fee to pay. So
Yes.
the buyer would put like the amount of ETH or USDC in your contract. The
Only
contract
HEX. Only HEX. Only in HEX.
only hex. Okay, yeah. So only liquid hex.
Yes.
So the buyer puts like I don't know 3.3 million hex in the contract. Therefore, he gets the tradable stake, and I as the seller will get 3.3
You
million
chose a
minus
bad
10%.
example. Yeah. So yeah. If you put your stake up for like 100k hex, then I can buy it for 100k hex, and you would receive 90k hex. And the remaining, like 97% of the fee of the 10% fee, is collected in the contract for a special function that we created. It's called the small payday. I mean, maybe you still remember the big payday from like some months ago. And the small payday can be, it's a function that everyone can use, everyone can start it, and it simply takes all the hex balance that's in the contract and stakes it for 5 days. And then after 3 days, someone else can run the function again, and then that stake would get emergency end staked, basically nuked. So the large amount of the fees that gets collected are getting redistributed to the whole staker class, including legacy stakes not created via HexBay.
Okay, good. So I agree with the seller that my stake is worth over 100,000 hex. He who puts 100,000 hex in your HexBay contract, the contract automatically sends me 90,000 hex, 90,000 of liquid hex in my
Yes.
wallet, and the 10,000 hex would sit. No, 90% of the 10%. So 9,000 hex
97%. Yep, 97%.
97. So 9,700 hex would sit in the contract,
Yes.
waiting that somebody runs a function to stake it, and a few days later to emergency end stake that we get like twice a week those small paydays.
Yes.
And the from 100,000 hex in total, only 300 hex would be your developer share, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. Ellen, would you like to ask some questions from the chat?
Yeah. Well, I have a question first before I go to the chat. And like one of the first things you said today was you were waiting for somebody else to do this function, but then you saw nobody did this contract. And in my opinion, the market always does whatever is possible. So you said it right away. It was possible to do it, so you went for it and did it. But you also did it in a way to make sure the original hex game theory is not in danger. Can you maybe explain how did you do that, and how have you had the original hex theory in mind, and with the tradable stakes now did not intervene with this original idea?
Yeah, so basically, if you just do like encapsulated stakes, and then you can sell them, trade them, whatever you want for any currency you want, you would always have like risks attached to that, because you would have to agree with another person, and then who sends first, etc. Like maybe there are platforms for that, but the main thing is we wanted to create HexBay so that it's net positive for the Hex ecosystem. So if you want to sell your stake, you will only receive 90% of the amount someone else bought first. So somebody has to buy 100k hex to buy your stake, but you can only dump 90k hex, and the other 10% get redistributed to the whole staker class. And we also did it that way to include all the like legacy stakes, so all the stakes that have already been created, that cannot be traded because you
Yeah,
can't
because they
enter
automatically
interactively.
get their fair share of those small paydays.
Correct, and also half of the small payday always goes to the OA, so it's kind of like a burn, I guess. So only with the benefit that the OA can do something with it if it wants to. Yeah.
A
So
smart burn.
yeah. So that's why we did it like that, and we also we also saw that the referral program is missing from Hex, and so we also put it into a HexBay, so you can actually refer people just like in Hex, where you have like hexbay.win/ and then your Ethereum address as a ref link, and if somebody clicks on it, it sets a cookie in their browser, and if they start a stake, then you will receive 4.7% of that hex instantly.
Okay, nice. So this referral program is a way for you to market HexBay, because in my mind, the market, just like I said, will order itself. So my question would be, why would somebody use HexBay if they already used to the normal Hex contract? And I think if you throw in the right incentives, just like the referral program, this will make people just use it. And I think this is like the only chances HexBay actually gets somewhere. Right?
Yeah, I mean it's like a kind of like a better stake because you gain so much flexibility. Like maybe you say, yeah, I have diamond hands, no problem, and I always stake 55555, and then you can do it with HexBase still, and you pay like a minuscule fee on that, like the 0.3%, because if you self-ref, you pay like only the 0.3% dev fee and nothing else, and then you never know, life happens, and maybe there's an emergency, something, and you can't. If you only have like legacy stakes, then you can't really do something about it. And here instead you have the opportunity to maybe like sell one of your stakes or sell two stakes. Or one problem I see with laddering is people ladder like too low, and then if you like only stake for 6 months, you gain like almost nothing in interest. And then if the E fees are so high, and then it's not really worth it. And maybe you don't want to sell actually at that time because the price is low or whatever. But you still have to end your stake then. And if you're using HexBay, you have like 15 years to choose the date at which you want to sell.
Yeah, and even after that, yeah, you can just like normally end your stake and compound it all together for another 5555 stake.
Yeah, of course. So we decided that you have like you can even emergency end stake your HexBay stakes if you really wanted to.
So guys, you can still nuke yourself. What a good thing.
Yep.
Well, and the little, as I understood, the little payday is like a self-nuking function, right? And we have here Dr. Isaac E. Hex says, what happens if nobody uses the 3-day end stake function at all? Will interest accumulate?
Yeah, it's like a normal stake. If nobody ever used that function, it would just accumulate. Yeah. But
exactly, and it's like
but if no one does it, then I'm gonna nuke it.
It's a function to start a stake, a maximum stake. So and from the third day, it's possible to emergency and stake it, right? And
correct.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you do it like on the third, on the fourth, on the seventh, on the 50th day, because it would just earn normal interest, so not lost interest, like you have it with late end stake penalties or late stakes. And then you just get more small payday, so you don't need to emergency end stake it on the third day of running, but from the third day on it's possible, right?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, if HexBay gains a lot of traction, then there's a lot of hex in it. So why would you not want to nuke it if you also have like long stakes before like the whole world is in hex? So so you can
but still,
increase
if
your share.
fees are high for a couple of weeks, it's no problem.
Yeah, it's no problem.
To
Yeah,
leave it a couple of weeks and then you get
at
the
first we
biggest
thought like
payment.
we chose 5 days. I mean it's not gonna happen that the stake runs that long, but we chose this long date so that to make sure that even if like for 100 days nobody ends that stake, that it still gets completely nuked. because
Well, that's a really interesting function. I heard about that the first time today. So I really like that, the distribution to the staker class and the OA, of course, as well.
I need to step back for a moment because there is this one thing Richard is talking about those encapsulated stakes with tradable shares. But what HexBay is aiming to do is just that you can sell a whole stake to someone else, right? So
correct.
I can't sell like one T-shirt out of this stake.
Yeah, we thought about doing stuff like that, but in the end, I don't know if there really actually is a like market demand for that, because I don't think that stakes are getting. I mean, even if HexBay gets adopted a lot, I don't think that there are a lot of stakes for sale all the time, because I mean, most of the time you create your stake, and then once in those 15 years, maybe you want to sell it or you don't, and that's all the interaction that you're ever gonna do, really. So yeah, we only have
Yeah,
like
and
full
actually,
stakes.
if the stake is like from a whale, so let's say somebody goes in the HexBay contract, buys or buys first on the exchange 1 million US dollars worth of hex, and then goes with those, what would it be right now, 100 million hex into the HexBay contract and stake it for Quattro Cinco. He would still need to find a seller afterwards, right? So it might be not useful to stake 100 million hex with HexBay
Yeah,
because
probably not. Yeah,
I mean useful, yes, but I won't, or I potentially won't find a seller in 5 years, for example.
yeah, that might be true if you like the full-on God whale and you put like the largest amount ever in. Yeah, then probably you won't find someone else. But then again, you could just split your stakes maybe into like 5 or 10 stakes if you're doing like these high amounts of hex stakes anyway. Then you can also afford the fees for some for multiple stakes. And
Mhm.
then also you gain a lot of flexibility, because you can then like just sell one of your 10 stakes instead of having like one giant hex. But then again, if hex gets adopted a lot, then maybe there are more whales. So you never know.
Fabian, before the interview, we were talking about the gas fees as well. And somebody is asking, and if I get it correctly, you have to pay double the fees for stake because you effectively are creating two stakes. Is this correct?
It's kinda correct. So we thought about this a lot and we tested around a lot. And the problem is, like, even if we went on to layer 2, that there always has to be one interaction at least with the hex main contract. And yeah, we designed around a lot, and we tried to maybe like do a pooling so everybody can send their hex to our contract, and then once a day the contract stakes for all the people. But then that would save some gas for the individual user. But the problem is you would also lose, yeah, a little bit of your stake, because if you have a shared stake, you can't emergency end stake, for example. And we wanted to
And
avoid that.
you lose a lot of flexibility because you can't set like the date you want to end your stake. Or I mean,
That's
okay,
true.
over HexBay it would be still no. It
You can choose the amount of days in HexBay if you want. Also you can choose
yeah.
lower than
Yeah.
5555.
But with the layer
It's
2 solution, it doesn't make sense to make it a Quattro Cinco stake, also a 5555 stake, because everybody within this group would need to agree that the whole stake is
yeah,
possible to
the
sell it,
solution
or
would be that you can then sell only your stake in the stake, so to say.
okay, so
Yeah.
you're part of the T-shirt in the stake. Okay.
Yes, that would have to be in a feature. But you can't emergency intake. Like maybe you only want to stake for 10 years, for example, maybe. And then after 9 years, you can, instead of selling on via HexBay, you can also emergency end stake, for example. I mean, if you're over like half the amount of time that you said you would do, then your fees would get less and less the closer you are to the actual date that you set, and you would lose the ability for doing that. And also, at the moment we are implementing a new feature, and at first it came from the community actually in the crypto dev chat from HEX, the option to transfer stakes. And so we at first we went with it and we implemented it, but there are some problems with that, because right now, if for example your wallet gets compromised, and like I kind of believe that most of the time the hacker doesn't realize that you have stakes, but if he would realize that, then he could only nuke them if they are really long, so he wouldn't get anything from it, or he would have to wait or whatever. And if he had the option to transfer stakes, then he could transfer the stakes to himself via HexBay, and that's
then
not really
wait
a good thing.
and get all the benefit from it.
Yes, so that would be actually a bad thing. The good thing is, like, if you're and so the solution we came up with now is that when you start your HexBay stake, you can set a recovery address. So you can choose your own Ethereum address that you. The recommendation is that it's like fully air-gapped, never been used probably, and you can set this address as your recovery address. And in case your main wallet gets compromised, the recovery address can come in and save your ass and change the owner to a new owner that you can decide with the recovery address. And I mean, it's actually a really nice feature, but we had to think a lot about how to do it in a way that that you cannot get screwed over by somebody hacking your main address. And we are currently implementing this, and it's a pretty neat feature, because the way we are doing it is that I mean, it's getting kind of complicated, but the the bottom line is that you can set a recovery address, and in case you're getting compromised, you can get back access to your stakes, and also you can stake for somebody else, and choose yourself as the recovery. Maybe your friend is not really that much into cryptocurrencies, doesn't know a lot, maybe has the possibility of getting compromised, and then you can save him. So yeah.
Cool, interesting.
Fabian, in the chat, we have the discussion right now that HexBay is actually totally destroying the Hex main game theory, and that it is not trustless anymore. I know for sure you had to talk to critics before. What do you tell them if they say it's not good for the Hex game theory and that it's not trustless? What you can tell these people?
I mean, it's still trustless. So you're just interacting with a smart contract. We are getting audited by Coinfabrik, and yeah, so trustless. No, it's still trustless, but yeah. So for tradable stakes, with nothing else attached to it, it might be kind of bad for the ecosystem, but it doesn't have to be. But the way we build it, it's actually beneficial, because if you think about it, the fee only hits the seller of a stake, so the impatient person, just like in Hex. If you're impatient, you're not getting as much as compared to if you are a patient person, and if you're doing what you actually said you would do. And here it's the same, and you can only buy and sell for Hex. So if you want to sell your stake, someone else has to buy that Hex first. And he has to buy 100% of it, and you only receive 90% of it. So overall, for the price, it's a positive. And then you have like all the.
I mean, it's if it's price positive or not might be debatable, because it's only then price positive if it also attracts new customers. So if it only would take shares from the old customer base from Hex, then it won't be price positive in my point of view. So what is the main market you want to address? Like a bit older people who don't know that they are that they should stake longer because they are afraid of their age or something like that?
I mean, at this point, Hex is like over a year old, and we still haven't reached like massive adoption, and there is so much room for improvement. And I really feel like that the missing referral program, it kind of hurts. And so we bring you a referral program, 4.7%. That's like a lot. A lot. So if you can refer people, and you don't even have to be like staked in Hex or something, you can be like the biggest YouTube shill ever, and you can you can do your referral stuff, and you will get a lot of Hex out of it. And it's also price positive because the people that then start their stakes, yeah, they sent you 4.7% of the Hex, but they also had to buy the 100% of Hex first. And,
okay, so the thing with the trustlessness. So how is it getting done? So will there be like a market in the HexBay contract itself that potential buyers of already done stakes are having like a list of like stakes who were made in the HexBay contract that I as a potential buyer that I can go inside the code and have a list of uh, stakes who were made, and can I as a buyer also make an offer for a specific stake?
so because we want to make it fully trustless, you have to flag your own stake that you want like for sale. You would have to set a flag that it's for sale, and also what the price is. And then
To set the flag would be done with signing a transaction.
yeah, you would use a function inside in the contract.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
and in this transaction, you will also set the hex price that you want to receive, and then everybody can see which stakes are for sale, and they can browse them, they can check them, and they can buy them. And that's also another thing. If you are like a full-on Hexican, and you want to maximize everything, and you have like a long time horizon, then HexBay offers you like an additional method of obtaining your shares and yeah, getting the most out of your hex now, because it's kind of like traveling back in time. Because if you're buying T-shares from 2 years ago, yeah, those are like real nice T-shares that you bought, and you couldn't get them today.
This is a good point you make there. I haven't thought about that. Like as a Hexicant, why would I buy normal Hex from the market when I also can buy it from the HexBay and get the better T-share price, right?
No, that's not. You still need to buy the hex on the market in the first place. It's just like, why should I stake at the normal hex contract instead of buying a existing stake from HexBay, who is still having those juicy T-shares from the past?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So one question from the chat is the good accounting function still available on HexBay?
Yeah, the good accounting function is always available on the Hex main contract. You can good account any stake.
So just to clarify, yeah, in order to use HexBay, also the HexBay smart contract will start a normal hex stake, yeah, as you have done it with your own Ethereum addresses. The only thing, or that the benefit to have the HexBay contract in between, so your address, HexBay contract, and Hex contract, is that if the stake is on the HexBay contract, you have the possibility to sell it in the future.
Correct.
As a whole thing, yeah. Just to clarify that not all the people are, yeah, but tradable shares or like a layer 2 solutions, you know. So just to make a clear point here.
And then other question from the chat is, what is the HexBay main page goes down? Can you still interact with the HexBay contract somehow?
Yeah, of course. You can build like backends just like backup Hex and all the other stuff. You can It's just a front end. You can go to Etherscan, go to our contract, and you can interact there with it. Yeah, of course, it's like it's a normal smart contract, like fully trustless. Yeah.
Good. What would be the focus of the audit? Is it the focus on the game theory, on the security, on the because Hex had like economics and security audits? Is there any difference or?
Yeah, so we don't need like because we are interacting with the main hex contract, like all the hex rules are applying, so we don't
So
need
you
like
don't
an
need
yeah.
economics audit, right? Yeah, sure.
So of course we are doing the security audit, and that's the main focus because we want users to be safe. That's the main thing. We want it to be like fully trustless, no middleman, only in hex. Yeah, and of course secure, and no admin keys or any kind of that stuff.
Yeah. And when the audit is coming back from CoinFabric, it would be a public document, I guess.
The audit, yes, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool.
So for how much time did you work on the contract, and what do you think, when will you open it on the market for us users?
Yeah, so you can test it right now. We have deployed it in the Robson testnet at hexbay.win. Yeah, and yeah, it's it's kind of like a contract has like some audit backlog, and everything is taking a little bit longer than what they initially said. But yeah, I'm quite positive that we are gonna get it out like this month, if not then early next month.
All right, sounds nice.
Yeah, cool. So we have a good timing, right?
yeah. I mean, we've been kind of like hanging low because we wanted to do like everything in place first, and before we come out and maybe start like promoting or telling you guys all about it. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'm in your small Telegram group, which has like 30 members right now or something like that. Yeah, just some curious guys and some other developers who like to test it on the Robson network. And yes, I'm nice to hear. I'm glad to hear that you are nearly done with it already, and I'm really looking forward what the auditors has to say. I'm sure with your knowledge, you and as you're like leaning towards the hex contract, you might have a good contract already in the first place. You know what I mean? So I hope there won't be any huge software bugs or something like that. What they can find.
Yeah, we've chosen like the most amazing product there is, and we decided to build something on it that's that makes it just a little bit that little bit sweeter for like all users, because yeah, like I said, if you get the flexibility, and if you sell, yeah, sure, you incur the 10% fee, but you've also made like a lot more interest up until that point. And for the hardcore Hexicans that want to stake the longest have the most T-shares, it's an amazing feature actually.
Well, the people in the chat actually really like the idea of HexBay. Somebody's writing, "Wild stuff, boys. It's a whole new world." Another one is saying, "This is big fellas." So I guess there will be a market for HexBay in the Hex community. But Fabian, do you have a plan for your contract? Like Steph or Fireban was saying, he would like to have to gain more users from his staker app. Do you have the same aim, that you want to draw that many people in? Do you have the number in your mind?
I don't have a number in mind, and also, like, I mean, that's the whole point why we have the referral program, and we have like a big referral program, and we really hope that it takes off, and people start referring other people, and because if you self-refer, you pay like almost no fee, and you have only the benefits, and even if you are getting referred, you're still making like you're paying the 4.7% to someone else that referred you, but you are making a lot more interest.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean,
it's
in my point of view, it will start slowly, because at first there won't be a market to sell the stakes, because also what some people are misunderstanding. all stakes were done already on the Hex smart contract can't be moved from the individual private key. So the only option where it is possible are the new stakes made with the smart wallet over the stake app. Yeah, there is a possibility of transferable ownership over the Gnosis safe wallets they are using within the app. But besides that, there is no way that an existing stake can be moved to a different private key, to a different wallet. And
correct.
I just needed to make this clear because outside of the dev chat, there is a lot of misunderstanding still in the market.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of normal, but yeah, of course you can't change the rules of the Hex contract are all the same. The only difference is now that the HexBay contract owns the stakes and therefore it can transfer internally the ownership, and that's what's happening.
Because the Hex contract takes the ownership on the behalf of the user, and if this user decides to put this ownership to somebody else, then the Hex contract with the decentralized functions can or is able to move that in a trustless way. Is it
the HexBay contract can do that?
Yeah, the HexBay contract.
Yeah, because you said the Hex contract. The Hex contract is always has always the same owner. Like our HexBay contract is always the owner of the stake, but internally in the HexBay contract, someone else is.
Yeah, and the owner doesn't mean like that you are owning those stakes. So it's just a trustless, immutable, without admin keys smart contract of HexBay.
Yes. Of course, it's not me. I'm not owning anything. It's all the HexBay contract owns the stakes, and therefore you can, like with the functions we've built in, etc. Yeah, and then you can use it. You can sell it. You can revoke your sale if you don't want to sell. You can update your price if nobody sells your stakes. But the main thing is that at the beginning, and I'm guessing for a longer period of time, there are probably not a lot of HEX stakes up for sale. That will only come a little bit later, because if you just started your stake, you don't really want to sell it like 1 week later. Probably. I mean, maybe some people are.
That's why I'm thinking that it won't be like a huge quick start, and nobody needs to be aware that now suddenly all of staked Hex it's getting liquid or something like that, because I guess it is in some people's mind like that.
Yeah, but I personally think that this will always be true for all HEX stakes, no matter what. I don't think there will be like this super liquid commodity that's getting traded a lot, because there are so many parameters to every stake, so that they are all not the same. They are all always different from each other, and that's why I don't think that there are always a lot, because think about it. If somebody puts up his stake for sale and it's like he undervalues it, then some Hexican is gonna buy it, like really fast.
Yeah, well, what I really like about HexBay is that it incentivizes everybody to stake. Like right now, I have 0.01% of my Hex liquid, and with HexBay, I wouldn't need to do that. I can just stake it, and then later on, I can sell it. And then there is a question in the chat, like how many times you can resell a stake. Do you think people will try to flip these? Maybe there will be a whole different market where people really try to buy those stakes and then maybe resell it on like a trading thing,
I mean, kinda. It can kinda happen, but you always have like this 10% selfie. So, as me personally, I think that most of the time, one stake will get traded multiple times, probably, and that's also good for everyone, because every time the stake is sold, the 10% fee applies, and we have another small payday.
Yeah, that's true.
And everyone gets benefits from it, even the old stakes that have already been created. Yeah.
Cool. So
Well, Fabian, I will have to say I really like the idea of HexBay. Can you please give me like a short elevator pitch of the HexBay? Like if I want to tell people about HexBay, what should be my main points to talk about?
Yeah, it's basically you gain like maximum amount of interest and have the flexibility to sell. And those are like maybe the the two main points because you're getting like the full on interest. It's not possible to get any more than that, and you have the flexibility. So maybe like after 5 years you decide, you know what, I'm gonna
should
sell
I
it.
try the elevator pitch for you?
Yeah, do it for me.
Okay, so guys, if you are using the HexBay contract, you have again an option how you can earn free hex without having to put any money into anything. Yeah, because you get to hexbay.win slash I don't know. When it's done, you will be noticed. You can create your own ref link there. You can go out on the market, explain to people how the system works. It works the same as the usual hex contract. The only big difference is that you can start a maximum stake right away because you don't have to wait until 15.2 years for the stake to end. You are earning from the first day the best interest possible with the HexBay stake, and if there comes a time in a few years where you need some money or you want the money out of the stake, you can offer the stake on the general market, and with a 10% selling fee, you get all the liquid hex which the stake is worth.
Yeah, that was actually amazing. You should do that for a living.
Crypto-Sparbuch. Just to mention it. Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm getting better to it. Yeah.
I mean, it's like my first live stream kind of like thing. So and also I'm not the full-on chiller, so yeah. But it's like you said, it's really great. You get the interest from day one, maximum interest, and even if you intend to stake for 15 years, let's say, but you never know what's gonna happen in your life, and maybe you live in the US and some of your I don't know, your parents get sick or something, and you would really need the money. You still have the option to sell like even after 2 days. I mean, you would take a loss on that, but it's much better than having your normal HEX stake for 15 years because you wouldn't get anything if you were to end that stake.
Well, sure. I think I know exactly what will happen. And what will happen is that HEX will go to $7 and people want to sell because they want the money, right? And that's
probably.
again,
but still somebody on the other hand would need to buy those HEX on the market and buy this existing stake with new HEX. So, it's not price negative on that point, yeah. And correct. Actually, if the HEX price goes to $7, it would be with the normal HEX code even more price negative, because all the existing stakes which are over 50% progress would be emergency and stake to get at least the principal and some addition, because right now we are under 1 cent, so we are talking about 700x right there. So I would do that, for example, for a 700x, and I'm sure that about 30,000 other people would try to do the same at the same time. So,
I think this is a really good point to make there. With HexBay, the people wouldn't emergency end stake to sell the principal, but to sell their stake so it doesn't get like this on the market, right? So this is a pretty good point.
Exactly, because on the other side, you need to wait until you find a buyer. Yeah, because you can set the amount of hex you want to have for this stake. So if you have, I don't know, if it's currently worth 1 million hex, you can even say, guys, this stake is already running for 3 years. I want to have 1.2 million hex for it because it has way more T-shares than you would get right now.
Yes, sure.
And then you get like a agreement process or something like that. No?
You can also undercut. Like if you really want to sell your stake, you can sell it at a lower rate, and you will incur the 10% fee, but you would still get a lot more than if you had to emergency unstake, where you maybe get nothing out of it, or you just have to wait longer. So yeah, there's also that. Yeah.
Man, I bet there will be HexBay snipers somewhere waiting for really cheap stakes and then just buying them up to resell them later on.
Yeah, Ellen, you're in Mexico. So have you found a HexBay already?
Well, they are everywhere here.
They are everywhere. Yeah.
Actually, I'm just waiting for
we already have a market where you can start selling it.
Yeah.
And speaking about actively marketing, do you guys have intentions or like a plan for how to market your HexBay contract?
So we've designed it in a way that other people can do that. I mean, as you can see, I'm not the best at selling you stuff, but we are good at building good stuff. So there's that, and then there are people that can do the referring for the whole community. I mean, if you get 4.7% of everyone that you refer, and you have like a really good reach, and you can reach a lot of people, that's like a lot of money, and you can do a lot of marketing for that amount of money. So,
and just for the haters, we are still speaking about a zero or a one level referral system, so no pyramid in here, so nothing which puts new fat on the market or something like that.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So what do we have? Is there a price differential incentive between stakes older than 50%, old versus stakes that are under 50% and still have reached principal power? If there is a price incentive, I don't know. And actually, with the HexBay contract, you're setting up 5555 stakes. So we might find out in 7 years.
Yeah.
Because like in 7 years it would be 48%, and in 7.8 years it would be 51%. Then let's watch the markets.
As I understood the question, the seller is always putting the price himself. So if he wants, like Fabian says, low cut the price and make it easy for somebody else to buy it, then he can do that, right?
Yeah, of course, sure. Yeah. If he wants to sell like after 7 years exactly, like with 47%, he would still lose a lot of his principal if he emergency unstakes, and maybe he will choose a lower price instead of what his T-shares are worth. So I guess the usual span of the price or region of the price, Preisspanne, is the current value in hex, and on the other side there is like the current value of the T-shares, and in between those two values, I guess, will lie the truth to sell one HexBay stake.
Yeah, that's correct. You have like the principal and the earned interest. So that's like a base minimum, because you have a lot more T-shares than you would get. Like
that
maybe
then
if you
stakers. Yeah,
yes,
course.
Correct. So that's like if you want to sell your stake in 5 years, I mean, you have a lot of T-shares compared to people putting the same principal in at that date then, and so it's
or putting good. Even more principal in, so like your current value, but even if they're still putting the current value, they get less T-shares in theory. Yeah,
I mean, if at some point they have to like increase the principal by a lot, but then they would also get the same amount of T-shares. But if I'm selling my stake, they could just buy my stake. So why would they not do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have the question here. Somebody's saying, I'm not fully convinced. I like the mechanics, but I doubt it will gain traction without offering NFTs. I don't know what he means by NFTs, but I'm sure HexBay really needs to gain traction somehow to find those users, because without users, HexBay would go nowhere. What do you do to really get those tractions? What do you do to find more users?
Yeah, so the intention is that once the audit is through, yeah, we're gonna do some like basic tutorial videos on how to interact with the platform, and the rest is up to the community, really. So reach out to the people, get them into HexBay, best HEX Stakes available. Yeah.
Well, I think you would need a really good like internet page, like where people can beautifully see what is on sale, how much does it cost me, and like just make it usable for the customer.
Yeah.
I think the main problem Hex has right now, the internet page go.hex.com doesn't look as good as other pages.
I mean, it's been revamped multiple times now. I think it looks kind of alright, but I don't think that's the main problem Hex has at the moment. I think it's really you need to get momentum in cryptocurrencies. That's what I've learned over the years, and like you can see on Cardano, for example, at the moment, or BNB or stuff, and Hex has moments where it goes up, everything, yeah, and
I mean, for me, I see a big value for getting somebody who doesn't know about Hex to do his first maximum stake. Yeah, by saying, yeah, don't worry. If you really want to sell this in the future, there would be a market to do that, because you're staking it with this sub smart contract that you don't need to ever emergency end stake, because you might need a couple of weeks of time until you find a potential seller. But that way you gain maximum interest, and you always have to have the possibility to sell in the future.
Yeah, and also it's like for people that are older or maybe have like some health issues or stuff. I mean, it's in a way it's kind of unfair, I guess, that the younger people, they can stake for 15 years no problem, and they don't really have to worry about it. But if you're already older or stuff, and at the moment, then maybe you are doing just like 5-year stakes, and then you would lose out on a lot of interest. And
Yeah,
with
and
HexBay,
suddenly
you
you
don't have
live
to.
15 more years because
Yeah.
Richard made some sci-fi research or something.
Yeah, and then you bite yourself in the ass afterwards. So yeah. And with HexBay, you can do it. Everyone can get the maximum interest.
Yeah, I'm thinking about another question. No, I lost it. Sorry. Anything from the chat, Alan?
Not so far. Well, there is a lot of discussion, of course, in the chat, but they are all talking to each other right now.
Okay, so what's the general consensus? It's like, is
at
it
the
like
beginning of the stream,
go away with this idea, or is it like, oh yeah, it's nice?
At the beginning of the stream, I saw people shouting, we don't like that. Then in the middle of the stream, when we all explained it, there were people saying, man, I love that. That's a really huge change right now. And I think people are already sold on the idea of HexBay. I think they like it.
Mm-hmm. So to stake over the HexBay contract, it will be more gas needed, right? So it would be a slightly higher fee to do that right there.
Yeah, that's correct. But then you can also do like, instead of, I don't know, I mean, some people are laddering like every month, and then you could maybe tone that down a little bit and say, okay, now that I'm
because
more
you
flexible,
have flexibility to sell.
yes, then maybe I just do one each quarter or just 2 stakes per year, and then I can choose the specific time where I want to sell it.
Yeah, you got me.
And one really interesting question I have here is, what's your edge over staker app smart wallets? Like somehow I see it as you are a competitor, right?
I don't really think so, because we are doing like completely different things, and also yeah, the guys from the stake app can also include HexBay. I mean, it's basically the same thing. The the stakes are ordered exactly the same, and so you can like view your stakes like normally and everything. So they could, if they wanted to, they could also implement it that way. And so what's the edge?
Everybody who is using HexBay inside their stake app, they would gain the ref money out of the HexBay contract.
Yeah, which is like a lot. so there's also the benefit of that, and then
and they would have another option for their users, right?
Yes, sure. And also with the new feature we are currently implementing, you don't really need like this Gnosis smart wallet stuff, because you can just choose a recovery address of your own, and you can recover like your stakes yourself, basically, and you can
so let's say I have liquid hex in my hardware wallet, let's say Ledger. I have an empty MetaMask account. I combine it with my hardware wallet, with the Ledger in that case, and then I go to internet page like go.hexbay.com, and there I have the user interface where I can do my Quattro Cinco stake, which is sellable in the future. And if I lose my Ledger hardware wallet, or if I lose this 24 word seed, how can I proceed then?
Yep. So when you start the stake, you can set a recovery address, and it's optional.
How could I do that?
I mean, it's just an additional field on the website that you just put in. It's
okay.
It's it's in the function. Then if you put something in, this address then is now your recovery address, and then the way we are doing it is because it's kind of complicated, I guess. But the main thing is that your main address that you've used for staking has like a time lock feature on it. Then, so if you want to, like, for example, you want to sell your stake, then you would first have to activate the time lock. It would take 48 hours. That's what we are thinking about currently. And after the 48-hour window, you can sell your stake. You have like 1 week where you can do everything with your stake that you want. But if the time lock is called, you can use your recovery address to instead claim ownership of these stakes. So if you got if your wallet got compromised, the other person can't immediately sell your stakes on HexBay. The hacker first has to like start the time lock, and then people can build like that.
Really easy. So the hacker as well need to start the time lock. So definitely I have like a time window of 48 hours to figure it out, and you
can set up like a Telegram bot that PMs you if your time lock is called, and then you can come in with your recovery address and save yourself actually. So your recovery address would not become the new owner of your stakes, but instead the recovery address, you can input a new address, and this address becomes the new owner, and you are still the recovery address. So the recovery address is always just for recovery.
Okay, and with all these functions, I mean, it sounds to me that it is also not a tool which is increasing the velocity of hex immensely. So that you have to wait for 2 days before you can set the amount of hex you want to sell the stake. You need to plan a bit in advance is
the
still
2
not
days
increasing the velocity of money.
It really doesn't matter, because if you are having like 15-year stakes, what are 2 days? So you can wait 2 days more. Basically.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Nice. Alan, anything else from your side?
Well, I really loved the interview here, Fabian. I'm really sold on HexBay. I think it's a great product. You opened my eyes in a lot of views here. Like also Patrick mentioned a couple of things that I haven't thought through yet, but it just makes sense to me. So can you please tell us, where can we find you on Twitter, or maybe where can the people contact you on Telegram or whatever, if they're more interested,
Yeah. So I'm on Telegram. I'm currently not using Twitter, at least not like actively.
Should we put the Telegram HexBay group name in the chat if you want?
Yeah, that would be great. It's just t.me/HexBay, and you can reach me at Earl of Cockwood on Telegram directly. And I'm also in the Hex Crypto Dev. I'm in the Crypto Sparbuch group. I'm in HexBear actually because it's funny. And yeah, I mean, it's been kind of quiet there, but yeah.
It's sometimes funny to read it. Yeah, I'm also still in the HexBear channel, especially because like Paxton and me were like, so I guess it was because of Paxton why Richard created the HexBear room.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, and you can also go to hexbay.win. You can switch over to the Robston testnet, and then you can
enrich yourself with fake hex.
Yeah, you can get yourself some fake ETH, and then you can mint on the website. You can mint all you want. Every mint transaction is 1 million hex, I think. Yeah, and then you have to approve once so that the smart contract can actually use your hex tokens because it's an ERC20. So that's the same thing like in Uniswap. Yeah, correct. And then afterwards you can do whatever you want. Yeah. You can start a stake. You can see stakes that are up for sale. You can flag your stake for sale. Yeah, everything.
Cool.
Well, can you explain, Patrick, what do you mean with fake hex?
What?
Can you explain what you mean with fake hex or fake Ethereum?
The
I didn't understand that part.
is a test network, so they have the contract already running, but on a test network. Like IOTA should be doing it since 5 years or something like that. Yeah, to test the shit out on a test network.
Yeah, you can click on your MetaMask icon, and then you can switch from Ethereum mainnet to Robston testnet. And once you've done that, you are on the testnet, and there are some faucets where you can get like testnet Ethereum. And with this testnet Ethereum, you can do transactions on the testnet, and you can visit hexbay.win, and then you can mint your own hex on the testnet. So it's like not the real hex.
Yeah, you can't
that's a fake hex.
Fake hex to the Ethereum mainnet. It's not possible. And if you need a guide for it, please go in their Telegram chat room. Yeah, t.me/hexbay. And I guess the pinned message is the Medium article, like how to do everything with the Robston testnet and how to claim your fake hex, and then you can start trying the smart contract out. And any time frame, what do you think that that Coin Fabric will need for the audit to be finished?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of good news, bad news. So they told us that it will be delayed a little bit, but that gives us the options to actually implement the recovery address feature, which is pretty good. So my guess is like later this month or like beginning mid next month, probably.
Cool.
With completed audit and everything.
Awesome.
Dr. Eisen made a really good point. The next time, Fabian, we will have a live demo here. Maybe we could have a split screen where you show how everything works, how everything looks like.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the
Awesome.
website is like kind of rudimentary at the moment. Yeah, but it looks kind of like the Hex website, so that should make it easy. Also like the Go Hex website.
Yeah. Also with the calendar function in there.
Yeah. So yeah, at the moment the website is kind of rudimentary.
Is there a calendar function? Because you don't need it really, no? Because you just type 5555.
That's the thing. Yeah. Probably most likely just gonna type 5555. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if there's a calendar function at the moment, but yeah, the website. We have some time to make it like really slick and everything.
Just to give the people an idea, because sometimes you say it like we. Should I explain like who is this we, or would you like to go on?
Yeah, we are like two persons working on the project. So that's every time I say
Exactly.
we.
Yeah. So the
I mean us.
other core developer of HexBay goes with the Telegram name Graph Panini and is also to be found in the HexBay group. So if you
Correct.
want to talk with him, he is also within the reach.
Yeah.
Are you also thinking about making it possible that a potential buyer can see like what stakes were made in HexBay contract, that he can flag like a specific stake and make an offer for it?
You mean like that even if it's not up for sale, that you can ping
Exactly, yeah.
someone, for example?
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So like,
I
dude, I
mean,
want to have your juicy stake there.
I mean, you can kind of do it because you can see which address owns which stakes, and you could go to Etherscan, I guess, and then you can leave a comment on Etherscan under each address if you wanted to, and you can say,
Ah, okay, so it's a bit
put it up
complicated
for that
then.
much. Yeah, it's a bit more complicated, but yeah, no, I don't know if it's that useful. Maybe I'm gonna think about it actually. Maybe I mean we still have some
Yeah.
time.
Just just brainstorming with you today. Yeah. Well, haven't. Ellen, do we have any other questions? Do you have anything else?
No, not as that I see yet one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the last question we have here, like, so you're not handing the actual code you will deploy to the auditors, of course, but they say it like they are too busy right now, so give some more time, like to implement even a bit more, or how does that work, Fabian?
Yeah, that's the thing. They have a lot of requests and they're working on a lot of audits currently. Coinfabric that is, and yeah, so we just got delayed a little bit. So yeah, of course we can in the meantime change around the code, etc. They haven't started auditing actually, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that gives us
Should think that
some time.
answers the question. So do you think that it might damage the Hex game theory, the like original Hex game theory?
Oh, sorry, I was reading the chat.
Yeah. Do you think that it might damage the original Hex game theory because the chart of future stakes is might be getting a bit washed, or how do you call that? Because you don't know exactly when are the people going to sell the hex which are locked in the HexBay contract.
Yeah, so you don't know when they're gonna sell, but instead of the way it's currently, if somebody ends a stake, you have to assume that he's gonna dump the hex, and you maybe you can see when somebody is offering his stake, but if he does offer it, it's a net positive for the economy because somebody has to buy the hex, and then buy the stake, and then only 90% gets dumped. So you always have the benefit here. If that answers the question, I don't know.
Yeah, and might it lead that for that the shorter stakes in general get more diluted because if a huge bunch of new users are just staking the 5555 stakes over HexBay contract,
I mean,
then
yeah,
some users who are staking short term in the normal hex code might get less interest, right?
that's true. But also, if a lot of new people come in and buy Hex and stake that for 15 years, that's pretty positive on price. So maybe you're gonna receive a little bit less
Yeah, actually,
interest if you.
my statement wasn't price negative right now because during saying it, I was thinking about that, and actually, it might be beneficial for Hex if old guys who are just putting their wall 1 month before and 1 month in front and 1 month in front, that they don't get so much Hex out of it. So
Yeah.
why not? Actually,
Yeah. So yeah, like we have. I mean, most of the time we have spent on on actually thinking about how we're gonna do everything, and it took a lot of time and a lot of like tries and to get it to where it's at now. That it's like it's price positive in almost every way, because even if a lot of hex gets now staked for really long, like how is that a bad thing?
Yeah,
Because it's not.
would it remove like the good behavior? Because like the current game theory of Hex is made that it
I mean, it's
incentivizes long-term thinking and long-term planning and so
yeah,
on. So would it
but
remove this good behavior?
no, it would actually benefit, because all the stakes are 5 5 5 5. That's the best user behavior you can have.
I mean, yes, but right now, if I do a 5 5 5 5 stake, I know I'm locked in, and
Yes.
this kind of behavior would be gone with the HexBay contract.
Yeah, but it's also a good thing, because every time somebody gets impatient with the HexBay stake and sells it, there's a 10% fee that gets redistributed to everybody. And it's actually possible for a stake to be like really net positive for everybody else if it gets sold a lot of the time. Because in 15 years, there's a lot of opportunity to sell your stake. And every time that happens, 10% gets redistributed to everybody.
Well, I
So maybe
see.
maybe it gets traded like 10 times, and then it's been like really good for the economy.
I see 2 or 3 people here saying just the same. They are afraid that the main hex game theory gets destroyed by HexBay. But I see it like this way. If it is possible that somebody creates a contract like you do, then somebody will create it. If you don't do it, somebody else next year will do it, for example. So anything, if everything that is possible will be get done. And Richard Hart, for example, he never thought that somebody would emergency end stake to restake longer. So this shows me that users, they find their way what to do with the product. And I think HexBay will show us in the future what interesting things Hexicans will actually do with that contract. So I think that is really interesting for the market.
Yeah, and actually, for me personally, I like the HexBay contract, and if there are no bugs in the code, which will be fulfilled by the same company who read it or reviewed the Hex smart contract, so there is enough trust for me personally. Do your own research, guys, please. Yeah, it's not financial advice here. Because also like for the referral program and for like a bit older people, for people who are afraid of losing their keys, yeah, because if this is like a direct onboarding, not via the online channels, then I can say, yeah, let's take my address as a recovery address, because I will take care of it, because there is a lot of hacks on there, so I I have this seed even in my brain, so it's that we can do it like that as well. And otherwise, so like as crypto Sparbuch, we could make a new seed on a hardware wallet and offer that seed as a recovery option.
Yeah, you can choose, like, you don't choose the seed, but you choose an actual address.
Yeah,
So
like we are creating the seed from a hardware wallet just to be
yeah,
as safe as possible, to create
yeah,
it offline. And then we could use this address and do some other business stuff around it, like that the user might link his address with the email address that we also know, like okay, this is really a user from Crypto Sparbuch or something like that. Yeah, cool ideas actually. I like a lot of that. I really like a lot of this. Yeah.
And are
Adam,
there
do you
maybe
have
more
a question?
things to come in the future? Are there more things you could amplify into the HexBay contract?
yeah. So while we've been working on the HexBay contract, we had like a lot of ideas for stuff that we could do, and most of the time it was the other dev that held me back a little bit, because I wanted to implement this, that, and everything. And but in the end, we wanted to bring out HexBay as this product, as the product that it is now. And yeah, we will be building other stuff then. Probably. I mean, it kind of depends, but yeah, we have a lot of ideas, and yeah, that's me basically in a nutshell. I have lots of ideas, and I'm always coming up with a lot of stuff, trying everything out, having a lot of game theory. Yeah.
Okay, just a bit of a different question right now because I don't see more new questions in the chat. For me personally, you have answered everything. So right now the market is a bit curious what in regards to the share rate. Yeah. Yesterday evening we did a German stream and I calculated the stake which is about to come out at the fifth on the 15th of March, like this huge stake
Okay.
of over 1 billion. And what do you think will the share rate do?
Actually, I haven't watched the video so far. Gonna do it later. I'm
Yeah,
always
don't
using
worry.
using
It's fine. You don't
Kryptosparbuch
need
like
to watch it. Yeah, it's just like, what do you
no,
think the share rate
but I'm
will
actually
do?
using it as a podcast kinda when
Ah,
I go to
okay, cool.
sleep. Yeah. Um,
Thanks.
yeah. So I haven't looked into it. So what? How old is the stake?
Yeah, you man, this guy is smart, because the first thing he's asking me, how old is the stake, because he really know, okay, if the stake is not long enough, he won't set a new share rate. You nailed it, Fabian, you nailed
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Because it started on day 104, I guess. Yeah, it was 104 for
104.
1
Okay.
year duration.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't
And
know. It depends. Are
exactly
there
that's
any
the
other
point. Yeah,
stakes that are older that are going to end before that?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
so
it's
so
it's
then
the
they will
case. Yeah,
increase the
I
price.
calculated yesterday, and it turns out that if you calculate like those last 12 days of interest, it's pretty easy to calculate because you just take the average of the last days. It won't change that much in the next 12 days,
Yep.
and if you then put in this whole amount of hex he might get out, or he plus minus 0 point something percent will get out, and then you stake it again for 365 days, you already see that he won't get as many T-shares for that as he currently has. So the share rate will not do anything with, I won't say it won't do anything on that day, because there still might end a stake from the first or second day with way less hex, but then we have a new share rate. But
Yeah.
this large stake won't affect the share rate at all.
Yeah. The first thing is like yeah, like the day one stakes that are ending are setting the rate at
Yeah,
the
or
moment.
if there is no day one stake and there is like
Correct.
a whale stake for 3 days or something like that, then this stake would change the share rate as well,
Yeah,
because the
but
system takes
only a
care.
small amount then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, only a small amount. And also with the old stakes, it's also just a small amount. It
Yeah,
might
it's getting
change in some
incremented up.
years, because
Yeah.
if there is like no stake competing with this specific first day stake, then there might be a smaller spike. So for example, in 2030, when those away stakes from the first week are ending, that might be a higher spike in the share rate of a couple of percent. But this
I have
stake,
some stakes ending in 2030 from day one,
yeah,
so
I have stakes
so
ending over
prepare
there.
for the high share rate.
Yeah, it would definitely be better to make a restake November, or yeah, just look at Hex Division, yeah. But it
Yeah.
is still better to restake before those stakes are ending who are setting a new share rate.
I mean, the best thing is always staking for as long as possible. And then it
Sure.
really doesn't matter that much. When you do it, the sooner the better.
Do you have a solution for that, Fabian? To always
That
take it longer.
yeah, it's easy. You go to go.hex.win and then you put 5555, or you wait 1.5 months, you go to hexbay.win, and then you'll create a tradable stake there. And then you
Sounds
don't
awesome.
even
Sounds
have
awesome.
to wait all the time. I mean, you still can. You can still be patient and wait all the days through, and then you can just end your stake and you made pretty much as if you had done it on the normal Hex contract, but you had the flexibility all the way.
Cool. Ellen, do we have anything else?
Not that I see.
Cool.
I
Do
think
you
we are
have
like
any
1.5
questions for us,
hours.
Fabian?
Yeah.
For you, yeah. How is it in Mexico?
It is awesome. Right now it's getting really hot. It is 3 o'clock and I can't wait to get to the beach.
I can imagine.
So when do we see you traveling around?
Me personally, I don't know. I'm not the kind of like YouTuber stuff or something. I mean, once COVID
You don't
is
need to be a
over.
YouTuber to travel. I mean,
No, but if you want to
maybe
see
since
me
last
travel,
year,
but if you want to see me travel, I would have to
so
like
yeah,
post stuff.
Well,
But I mean, once COVID is over, yeah, we are gonna travel. Yeah,
I would
I really
love
like
to see
traveling.
you. I would love to see you and the Panini guy as well at the Hex conference someday. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
the
would
next
be awesome. I mean,
physical Hex
I'm
conference,
also
wherever
wearing
it is.
like my shirt, but it's
Nice.
you can't really see it. Yeah,
Same here.
yeah. Best
Yeah.
community. That's true.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
So thanks for everybody out there for this awesome chat today. Thanks for coming and asking your all your questions. Thank you, Fabian, to have an answer to all of them and to clarify this, yeah, the different things, which are out on the market, and like to clarify what is the HexBay contract itself, and how is it beneficial for the whole ecosystem. And yes, I guess 1.5 hours of explaining HexBay is pretty nice for everybody. Ellen, anything from your side? Because I just have to say thank you and enjoy the rest of the week.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being in the chat and for watching the video. And thank you, Earl, for being such a great community member. I think this is why Hex is so valuable right now, because the community really drives Hex forward, and you're doing your part. So thanks for working on HexBay and giving us this awesome tour. And I would love to see more from you in the future.
Yeah, and also thanks a lot for inviting me, for having me on the stream, and yeah, thanks for everybody that tuned in, for everybody that maybe will watch it later. Yeah, and thanks to you guys as well for doing the Crypto Spabo streams, for putting
Welcome,
so
and
much
you
time
did
and effort
perfectly
in.
for your first live stream, Fabian.
Yeah, okay, thanks. That's great to hear.
All right, so everybody, a great week for you. Ellen, have fun at the beach in Mexico, in Acapulco. So in Libertarilandia or something like that, no? So a lot of open-minded people and crypto people there right now, what I know, because there
Yes.
is also from a influencer who is, he was living there, I guess, but he's doing a annual crypto conference there in Acapulco, and I guess there are still some people still there, no?
For sure, yeah. I'm talking a lot with a lot of them right now.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So
everybody, thank you
yeah.
for coming by, and I think we'll just close the stream. Bye.
Sure. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.